Okay, for the next professional services tools suite section, we'll be talking about the financial tools. Under the financial tools, we have what we call the account modifier or combiner. So what that tool allows a person to do is you click on the radio button and you hit next, and when that opens up the next screen, you'll see here I've got the ability of changing an account number from, let's just say we want to change Cash in Bank Canada, which is 1101, and I want to make that 1101.99. And so what I'm going to do here is I don't have a 99 as far as an account, so I would want to have to create an account so I can do that. So in this process, I will convert 0001101-00299. Now, as you do this, the system is going to recommend that you do a backup. I've done a backup already, so I can do multiple tools all at one time. And then it says here, are you combining accounts and using intercompany transactions? If so, please log into other companies with intercompany transactions and post intercompany batches prior to proceeding. So it's warning you there may be a possibility that you have to do a little maintenance before you do this. So it'll go through, and this is going quite fast right now. And when it gets through with the whole process, it's going to create that account for me and change that account number so it no longer exists as ending with 00. The modifier combiner process shows now complete, and it also warns you to please reconcile your years. And for those that work with Microsoft and GP, they'll recognize what reconcile the years means. So that process is complete, and at this point we're done with using the tool. Now I'm going to print the report that comes out to screen, and you'll notice here on the report that it converted the account 11 ending with 00 to 1199, and the type here is a change. So that's your account modifier combiner. So you can combine accounts, you can modify accounts. There's a couple of other things here that I'd like to discuss, and that is I can do a range. So you can go in and say I want to change accounts for a specific department. If a department had a current value of 300 and I want to take their department and change it to 399, so I can just hit convert and it will go ahead and change that. A very quick process, and it will go back historically and change all the transactions as well. We do have an import process here, and I mentioned to you earlier that we would talk about the import. I will do that in a different screen, but this is where you would import a list, and maybe there's 10,000 account numbers you want to change by importing a text file here at this point and hit the validate button. Then you can do mass changes as well. So that's the first part of the financial tools. As a brief highlight as well, you'll notice that some of the line items I'm discussing are highlighted with yellow. Each and every one that is highlighted with yellow requires supervisory or administrative rights to run. So when the supervisor is logged in, also the yellow denotes that all other users must be out of the system to be able to take advantage of this particular yellow highlighted feature. If they're not highlighted, then a user can do the procedure without having everybody out of the system. So now we're going to move on to using the checkbook modifier. So the checkbook modifier, same kind of process we've looked at before. We will just pull up a checkbook. We will start with checkbook Uptown Trust, and then we can put in a new one, new Uptown, and we can go ahead and hit convert. So it's just changing that name to a new checkbook, and that happens quite often in a business. So another one that we've got is called the fiscal period modifier. There are companies that do require changing their fiscal period through an acquisition or some other type of change that's happened at the company. Their fiscal periods change. So with the fiscal period modifier, you would hit next, and you would pull up the screen and say, okay, the first step is to set up new fiscal periods. So if you hit set up periods, then it will go ahead and say your fiscal period setup has been removed. Otherwise, if I had January, February, March, April as a calendar fiscal year, they've been set back to a period 1, period 2, period 3, period 4, 5. So what this has done is it's give you a chance to redesign your fiscal periods from your first day to last day in the periods, and then of course you can type in the month associated with the periods that you have now changed. Sorry, that should be March and April and so forth. I won't continue the process, but there you go. And so we've now changed our fiscal periods, and that's really that easy. Coming back to my slide presentation, the General Ledger Master Record Triggers is a tool that is used to replicate a general ledger from one company into another, and it really should be called copy instead of triggers, but I'll show you why I consider it to be a copy. You'll choose the GL Master Trigger, hit Next, and in this screen I can copy a database, in my case it's called 2Inc, to another database that's been set up. You cannot copy 2 to 2, or in this case one database, identically on top of the other. This will have to be a drop-down, and I don't have multi-entity and multi-database on my laptop, or you would see multiple choices here in the drop-down. But you will copy the General Ledger account and go ahead and hit OK. Now if I hit OK and I don't have another database, I will get a message, you cannot have the master database the same as the Replicate 2 database. So I can also copy vendors and customers using the master trigger setup. So this is quite exciting because you can go ahead and create a virtual mirror image of your system on another database platform so you can do testing. So this comes to the end of the session regarding the Financial Tools for Professional Services Suite.